Councillor Dingsdale.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. I have to admit, when I saw the original motion being proposed by the Conservatives, I was a bit confused. Particularly the wording remains highly concerned about the impact of the cost of living crisis on households across Greenwich. I mean, Mr Mayor, I am also highly concerned about the impact of the cost of living crisis, as I'm sure we all are. But we shouldn't forget that this crisis was brought about by 12 years of government by their party. In fact, their Conservative government has taken the equivalent of nearly £400 per year out of the pocket of every single Greenwich resident in terms of cuts to local authority funding alone. Never mind the austerity policies, the cuts to universal credit, public sector pay freezes and the tax hikes, which have hit every household individually in different ways, as Councillor Hyland set out earlier. As a result of such savage cuts to our funding, the support that our council can give here in terms of monetary support is extremely limited. And as the leader made clear earlier, the money the Conservative councillors want to distribute indiscriminately to those households will be taken from a fund set aside to help Greenwich recover after COVID. We would be robbing Peter to pay Paul, and to pay Paul just £50, which, as we are all aware, will barely make a dent in the huge increased costs our residents are facing. Some households who receive it won't need it, and for others, it won't be nearly enough. To give the most help to our residents, we need to spend our limited resources wisely and where it will have the most impact. Which is why I welcome the initiative for a cost of living task force. The crisis that the Conservative councillors' government has created over the last 12 years will not go away with a £50 gimmick. It needs longer-term solutions. The Leader of the Opposition says that he doesn't want to play politics, Mr Mayor. But clearly what the Leader of the Opposition wants is a cheap local headline that Greenwich Labour voted against giving our residents a cost of living rebate. And I urge my colleagues to indeed vote against that motion and give them that headline. Because ultimately for our residents, life is not cheap. The cost of living is extremely expensive, and as a result of heartless Conservative policies and their mismanagement of our economy. Local residents in May overwhelmingly voted for Greenwich Labour, and we owe it to them to spend every penny that we have wisely in a way that makes the biggest possible impact for those who need it the most. Thank you, Mr Mayor.